just finished tweeting about this conference. Yeah. Right. Let's go. It's a big honor to be opening up this conference, to be doing this first talk. I'm super excited to be with all of you today, and again, it's a pleasure to be here. My talk is gonna be it's gonna be relevant for people doing consulting in any form, and even for those who are not doing consulting, even if you work inside the company. I think it can be useful to apply the same approach. So this is kind of the formal title, and the real one is this one. But yeah, but before we begin, I arrived yesterday, and how many of you are for the first time here in Sofia? Oh, cool! Oh my God! Oh wow! It's quite an amazing gathering here. So it wasn't this. So this isn't my first time in Bulgaria. So I'm a bit right. Yeah, I'm in the middle. You can I can still remember the taste of this ice cream, and it was sprinkled with something, and I didn't like the thing that they sprinkled it with, but I didn't know at the time that I don't like licorice. Yeah, so it's gonna, and it's still with me for the time, for the lifetime, I think. But yeah, this was great. Seaside in Bulgaria. It's like one of the first happy memories of childhood. Yeah, my mom is totally kind of rocking the 90s outfit. So this is like a few facts about Evil Martians, for those of you who don't know. I'm going to share a few facts about Evil Martians and then something about myself to give you some context. So it's not a big company. It's not a small company, right? It's a sort of medium-sized. It's also a kind of old business, you could say, back in 2006. And we are a team of 50, so we are completely remote. We have a Japanese team, a team in Portugal. Everyone else is in different places, which is sometimes a problem when you have 50 people in 14 countries. But there are some things that I think are important, and one of them is we're bootstrapped, we are sustainable, and we didn't need to do any layoffs. So I can say I'm proud about this. Thank you. Yeah. We do consulting, but in addition to consulting, we also kind of commercialize a few products. Any cable and image proxy. Image proxy is its own company now. So this is pretty exciting. But like 95% of our work is consulting. So we consult mostly developer-first products, developer-first startups, so products that build for engineers. So these are just some examples. These are all startups, so perhaps you don't recognize the names, but they're pretty cool companies. And on top of this, we build a lot of open source. So the way we approach this is as we work for startups, we kind of open source our tools that we use, and this is an exciting part of our work. Not what I'm going to be talking about today, unfortunately. So this is just a bit of context about me. I originally created this. Give me a sec. Oh, nice. Any cats here? Sorry. I thought I got a job after I got a degree. I forgot. I actually got my first programming job before I got a computer science degree, which is normal. And the same thing happened with my second career. uh, which was in finance, in economics. So I first got into JP Morgan, and then I finished master's in econ. But this guy came to the graduation ceremony of my school the year before I entered. So it was pretty cool. It was a cool place. Then I quit bank. I realized it's not for me, and I started a startup. I found an old screenshot of this, and it was unsuccessful after 2 years. And I started another one, and another. And so this second startup is when I learned Ruby. So I'm grateful for this experience because I learned something about business first, and then something about Ruby. And finally, this was not successful as well. And I kind of continued into just kind of consulting for startups, building Ruby on Rails applications, doing what I could. Finally joined Evil Martians in 2017 and became CEO in 2020. And we launched Anycable Pro in 2021 with Vladimir Dementiev. And we like cakes, including this one. And yeah, just moved to San Francisco this year in January. So it's all pretty exciting, but I actually gave a talk with a similar title in Vegas at Sin City Ruby, but I'm going to be talking about something else today, something completely different, because I just want to give you one idea that is maybe clean and concise enough for you to remember. So I'll try to do this. And the idea might sound strange, but the idea is this, that after all those years in banks, in startups, at Evil Martians, of course, my role was to bring business into the company as the CEO. And my conclusion is that friendships, or you could say relationships, this is the source of business. And this is what I want to talk to you about. This is what I want you to kind of take away. And I'll explain what I mean in a second and how to do this. So what do I mean by friendships, relationships? What is it? I mean like a few things. Mutual trust, understanding, and care. So this type of relationship. This is what I mean. Of course, understanding, trust, and care, they have various degrees, right? You cannot have like 100% understanding, trust, and care with every single person. But there is a certain degree of this that will suffice, you will see. And of course, in every business, in every startup, this starts at your team. Right, in your team, building these types of connections with your teammates. Then many companies, frankly unsuccessful companies, fail to establish the same relationships with their customers. And this is what I think is super important. But then there's also the next, a bigger thing, which is your relationship with your audience. The audience can be, it's where the customers are coming from. Maybe a community, like Ruby on Rails community. And let me tell you why I think this is important. So one reason is purely sort of economic theory. And in simple terms, there's this thing called social capital that you need to be able to grow economy. You can think of it as trust between different kind of economic agents. The more trust there is in the economy, the fewer inefficiencies occur. This is kind of one way of putting this. There's also a very practical explanation. So friendships create opportunities for everyone. They help you reduce waste because they help you do less advertising, less kind of spam and stuff like that. And they, of course, they help you bring business. And I'm saying this, it might sound like I'm some kind of preaching about some kind of altruistic motives only and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about business. I'm talking about how to bring business into the company or into your own individual consultancy. And you can think about being able to build relationships as also fixing the leaky bucket of your business. So if you pour water, I mean, marketing, you do advertising, you bring clients into a leaky bucket, it's not effective. It's not going to be effective. If you are able, if you have the practice of building relationships, this bucket is just not leaking, and any marketing activity you have will be efficient. And finally, this approach actually scales. You can think, okay, I'm building relationships with my clients, but it's not going to scale. Well, it can scale because if you kind of teach this to other people on your team, right? So that then your teammates do the same, and then they do the same, and kind of scales like that. Final consideration. It's just my mental model of how how customers think about your value. It can be, by the way, applied to products as well. Is it just me here in the zone? Anyway, it can be applied to products, but think about the value and probability, right? So any deal you're making is a risk. So you don't know the value you're getting. So you can get, let me see, I went all into this animations last night, and so this is what I'm trying to say is like it's some kind of distribution of expected value, right? Of potential value. So the value can be low and the value can be average, and maybe you say, okay, my value is right here. My service is great. My service is above average value, right? Because you're doing great work. This is what we do at Evil Martians. But the customer will think, okay, there is a chance that I get this, there's a chance I get this, but the average is here. So I'm willing to sort of pay you for the average value, not for the better value. So you don't want this, right? You don't want to sell your service for average price, sort of. So when you are, doing this, if you're doing a worse service, you want to sell it at the average price. Yeah, you very much want this. But if you're doing something better than average, essentially what you have to do in your kind of sales process is to convince your customer to be irrational, because the rational expectation is here and it's below your price, sort of. So just think about it for a second. You want the client to be irrational. And how can you make it? You can say by disclosing information that your work is actually like different, kind of reducing information asymmetries, as we call this in economics. But you could also, in other words, you build trust. You ask them to you make it easier for them to be irrational, let's say. Now, how do you now, this is why you need to build relationships. This is why you need to build trust. This is why I think you need to build friendships with your customers and more. How do you do this? First of all, you start with understanding the person that is in front of you. So every time you meet a potential client, an old client, a friend, you're trying to understand them as a person and what they want. This is really hard. Even harder understanding is understanding their organizations and it's these goals, the goals of the organization. But what you also need to find out and understand is how your work is generating value. For example, you are asked to speed up test suite, for example. You need to think how this is valuable, who is going to benefit, who's going to be able to work faster, how many people, how much faster are they going to be able to work, etc. So you need to understand you might think it's not needed right now, but bear with me, this is important to build a relationship. Yeah, Evil Martians, the example is we are kind of pricey, and our understanding is that we are only needed when speed is more important than money, or quality is more important than money, because you can always find something cheaper in the market. Connecting is the other way. What I'm trying to say is, imagine you are an individual consultant. I want to convince you to start connecting your customers with their potential partners, with their potential users, clients, customers, with their potential partners. So I know it sounds strange, but once you become this kind of super node for your customers, they reach out to you, and they kind of get this additional value that helps them be irrational, by getting additional value from working with you and stuff like that. Now, I moved to San Francisco, and I feel that this idea of creating opportunities for each other is super kind of tangible there, and I want to advocate for the same approach everywhere. And it's happening. In Ruby community, people do help each other. People do offer each other opportunities, right? This is happening all the time. Adrian recently brought us a lead, and Joe Masilotti, by the way, brought us a lead recently. So this is happening, and we connect. I recently connected my client with an individual consultant. So what I'm trying to say, let's just do more of this, more and more of this, and the more you do of those, the more you create opportunities for people around you, the more you are, in my opinion, becoming a businessman, like a business person, the person who is helping things happen, sort of, for everyone, not just for yourself. And so you kind of want to be this person who can connect your clients with others. Now, something that I'm still struggling with on my own team is I want to tell you that even if you work with large sort of organizations, with serious sort of people, or people who raised capital, or you think they are more experienced than yourself or something, you still got to be yourself in every communication you have. You might think, that you have to be formal, that you have to sort of, I don't know, follow some mental model of like some other person that you're not. This is bullshit. Nobody needs that. Nobody can connect to the person who's not authentic. The only way to connect is by being fully honest, being awkward, just being yourself, and bring your best self to every conversation, every communication, and just have fun. That's what we're here for. And but the other side of this is kind of understanding people, right? Who is on the other side? and seeing them and learning their stories. For example, you can always check their LinkedIn and kind of try to understand their story from there, or GitHub. GitHub also tells you the story, and then ask them about it and kind of connect with them with their. Try to understand what they've been through, because nobody had a perfect, nobody had an easy path. Let me put it this way. Even people who kind of seem like they had an easy path, it's bullshit. Nobody had this. Everybody struggles. And probably everybody struggles more than you think they are at the moment. So connect to them, connect to their stories. And finally, share your passions, just kind of be present, talk about your passions with people, and this is how you get connected. Teaching is a super important part. Teaching goes kind of after you have the connection. Now you need to. So first of all, you learn, right? You learn from every experience. This is super important. Every experience, every project, every failure, you need to reflect, learn from this. And then use that learning to teach your clients, to teach your customers. What I mean is, you can you talk to them, for example, and it's not a customer yet, right? It's just a potential. What I'm trying to say is talk to them, understand their goals, and give your best sense of what could help them. Be useful, upfront. So don't try to think, okay, he's not paying me, she's not paying me, I'm not gonna waste my time on this. Guys, it's not how it's done. You gotta share your best, kind of opinions and thoughts, and then the other extreme is when you don't trust yourself yet, right? You'd think, okay, what can I share? Customers are much more experienced than myself in their own business. What can I teach them? What I want to say is, every person in the world has their own their own perspective, and each perspective has value. So as long as you say, okay, from my perspective, I see this, and you share, you gotta share. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not offensive. It's not in any way. It's only useful. You will get better at this as you do this. Quitting is also an important part of the relationship building. You got to quit. You got to walk away the moment you recognize that you're not able to help. And it can be for many different reasons. One reason is that there are better opportunities somewhere else for this client, for this goal, for this task. Just quit. Just say, this is not, you can find something else. Or you can also refer somebody, right? So kind of say, this is, or you could also say, I don't have enough to do my best work and to be useful. For example, often in kind of consulting, you don't have enough attention or time spent by the customer for this whole work to make sense. Just say it, put it on hold, and the customer will trust you much more. Next time when they return, when they have time, when they can dedicate their focus to you. Oh my God! Now this is okay. I'll go quickly now. Engaging is interesting. It's about many different things. Celebrating, inviting to different stuff, collaborating. What it means is, what I'm trying to say is, don't think of the relationship is never limited to your contract work. The relationship and friendship, if you think about friendship is getting a lot of like engagement originally, and then only then there is some kind of quote unquote return. But at the beginning of friendship, if you remember friendship, if you remember the moment when somebody else wanted to be friends with you, this person invites you, he calls you and says, oh, what's your plans for the next weekend? Let's go here, let's go there. How about this? Or I saw this amazing article. I thought you'd be interested. Take a look, tell me what you think, record a message for tell me your impressions. Tell me what you think. How about we go together on a hike? How about we go together to a conference? How about, are you planning to be at this meetup? This is all engagement, right? And this is what we do sort of organically in a friendship, if we know how to do this. I mean, even, let's say, even friendships, sometimes they require sort of dedication and effort, actually, especially when you are a bit older, not a, I don't know, college student. So what I'm trying to say, when you're building a relationship with your sort of customers, it's the same thing. Okay, you had a contract, it finished. It doesn't mean that the relationship ends. Not at all. You kind of got to work with those people, continue working with them, like continue engaging them, and just kind of, you will see that people will keep returning, and it's on you to keep the spark there. I don't know, kind of, it's on you to kind of work on this relationship. My mom works as a landscape designer, so she's a consultant on her own. I was like explaining this to her yesterday, the day before, and how she has to go out and talk to her past clients and engage with them and invite them to different places, not just coffee, but more than that, right? Oh, I wanted to mention this example. It's kind of fun, but I love this. Last year, Rails World tickets, you remember they sold out super quickly? So I had one spare ticket because of course I had an alarm at the exact moment the tickets went on sale, and it was on a Zoom call, but I still managed to buy several tickets. So it all worked out. So I had one spare ticket because me and Vladimir, we both got accepted as speakers, so we had one ticket left. So I gave it to the first paying customer of any Cable Pro, and it was just the best moment of my life because he was happy, and I was even happier that I was able to kind of fulfill his dream because he really wanted to go. So do this to your customers. It creates a special relationship when you treat your customers like your friends, and they become your friends. That's what I'm trying to say. They really become your friends. A few final thoughts. I'm finishing. I'm not sure if I'm over time, but there's always fear of rejection when you do this stuff. When you reach out, even if you reach out to a friend, sometimes if you're not that close yet, right? There's a fear. For example, you invited them somewhere once. They said no. Are you gonna do it again? You're like, I don't know. First of all, you gotta find this fear in yourself. It has to be there. If you don't feel the fear, it means you're masking it with something. I don't know, maybe it's too deep, kind of, but yeah. So yeah, first of all, it's there. Then, how do you overcome it? You overcome it with your good intention. So the intention of what you're doing, it's not coming from, okay, I'm gonna get this deal from this client right now. No, it's not transactional. You're not expecting this person to pay you money or something. No, your intention is good. The intention has to be like, I want to engage with this person. It's great. I want to do something nice for them, and I know what this is going to be. I'm trying to be useful. I'm trying to be nice. So when you have the right intention, it sort of, the fear is maybe still there, but it's not stopping you, because the intention is more important than the fear. And this is where we should talk about this word. I learned this word, I think when I was interviewing for an investment bank, and I thought, what a bullshit word. I mean, just kind of something bankers tell each other. But then I learned the meaning, and I think now this word is super important for me. So what I mean by this is, there's this phrase, right? You being able to at least, first of all, say what you do, be truthful, and also do what you say you do. So kind of being able to be truthful. This is one thing. And the second thing is harder, much harder, but loving what you do and doing what you love. So this is sort of like the next stage in this integrity journey. But what I'm thinking is, you cannot just get it, right? Money can't buy it. Money can't buy it. You cannot instantly get here, right? If you're not here yet. But you can steer your life towards this. You can be strategic and design the actions you take, your path towards being here. And I think once you're here, it's such a superpower, because once you're here, you don't have an internal conflict of like, I'm telling people something I don't believe in, or I'm engaging with people where I don't want to engage. This is not a problem anymore. So you need integrity to be able to build those professional relationships authentically and sort of without the internal conflict, and efficiently. So this is basically it. I'll just mention a few books. This is a funny book about a Hollywood agency. Yeah, but I think they applied this approach of like building relationships and stuff. And Ben Horowitz is kind of advertising this book. This is Challenger Sale. This is mostly about teaching, how to approach teaching. And this is just a shameless brag, not relevant at all, but it's our podcast. Okay, this was the moment when the idea crystallized in my head. When during this conversation with Jonah, this whole idea of putting effort up front, building friendship, and then how this helps your business in the end, this is when this crystallized. And so just kind of what I want you to do, I don't know, I'm at the moment where I think I'm at the moment in my career when I think I believe what I say is true. I mean, I think I'm sort of right. You gotta trust me. But I still don't know how to be gentle about it, how not to push my stuff on people. So I'm gonna push it on you. Sorry. So I'm gonna tell you, do this. I'm still finding my way around kind of how to be kind of gentle and direct and stuff. I'm super direct. Be strategic about two things: your audience, people you build for, the audience. And this is the connection to the audience is sort of for life. It's not temporary, because you kind of it's something you can grow throughout your whole career or life. And be strategic about your integrity and about doing what you love. And second, create opportunities. Create opportunities for people around you. Just start today. Start doing this today. It's a habit. It has to happen non-exclusively, kind of. Do it for everyone. And do non-transactional things. Invite people. And I'm saying this to myself as well as just as to every single one of you, because we forget about this. It's easy to forget about this. It's easy to focus on just deals and stuff. But so that the business grows, so that the business people keep coming to you, so that you are growing your influence and being useful for many people, you got to engage. You got to engage with people, do non-transactional things, like speaking at conferences, I guess. And yeah, this is not a, if you thought this is kind of theoretical, no. This is a very practical instructions. Let's do it right now. Yeah, thank you.